My name is Martín Echeverría Victoria, and I am co-author of this article that I present below. In the global scientific production exists many traits of asymmetry between periphery and central countries, particularly from the geopolitical north. This entails a dependency relationship from the peripheral nations to the central ones about scientific objects and theoretical and methodological frames, who are widely used and have high reputation. Nevertheless, there are some countries in some scientific fields that isolate themselves from the global mainstream to focus in endogenous production. This could be the case of Mexico in the field of political communication. This work explores empirically these issues to address a couple of research problems. Firstly, if there is in fact an isolation in the Mexican scientific production in regards to the destination of their publications that could be national or international. And secondly, if that production aligns itself to the quality parameters of the international outlets so it can be distributed through these channels. About our theoretical perspective, two concepts are relevant: the reflexivity of scientific activity and the relationship between center and periphery in the production of science. The first one assumes that scientists are socially constructed subjects in terms of the objects and subjects they explore. As such, a self-critical vision is pertinent in regards to the constraints that determine their production, trends, and challenges. Also, reflexivity should surveil the way that scientific knowledge is inserted into the dynamics of the subjects and are influenced by it. Reflexivity is, thus, a mechanism of control and surveillance for the scientist about what scientists do, so they can be conscious about its development and interactions with the society. The second theoretical concept is about the center-periphery relations in scientific production. By center, we understand the international mainstream of knowledge distribution, with a high level of development, reputation, and spread capacity, commonly associated with countries of the geopolitical north. By periphery, we understand the stream of scientific production of a scarce potential of internationalization and with restricted access to international markets of knowledge that typically comes from developing countries. A dependency relationship is established from the second to the first. Difficulty that the contribution of knowledge about the periphery are recognized. Delay of the professionalization of scientific journals. Division between those scholars that are inserted into the international networks of scholars and those who don't. The deep asymmetry of knowledge contribution and distribution because of the commercialization of global publishing corporations in the center. Taking reflexivity as the normative concept that motivates this work and the center-periphery relations as molding forces that structure scientific fields in many countries, we describe our empirical findings and observations. The global data of the papers were taken from the databases such as Scopus and World of Science, and for the Mexican cases we consult sources such as the Center for Documentation in Communication Sciences, from the Instituto Tecnológico de Estudios Superiores de Occidente, the Network of Scientific Journals of Latin America and the Caribbean, Redalic in Spanish, from the Universidad Autónoma del Estado de México, and the Brazilian database Scientific Electronic Library Online. Publications were searched under the keywords of political communication, communication and democracy, communication and government, public opinion, media and politics, media and democracy, media and government, and other similar keywords, which generated the corpus of 2002 documents. A first finding is the volume of papers from Mexico in comparison to other countries, according to Scopus. Although the difference is abysmal compared to the United States, which had produced 5,400 articles until November 2016 against 89 Mexicans, the comparison with other countries of similar dimensions is also disadvantageous for that country. Thus, in Spain, 475 had been published and 253 in Brazil. It was also found that only half of the local production was in the form of arbitrated or indexed articles, whereas the other half in formats of few diffusion like chapters or books or publications not arbitrated. However, at least 80% of production goes through a process of peer review arbitrage. Likewise, it's remarkable the pluridisciplinarity of the field, since 29% of political communication publication papers are published in communication journals and 22% are published in general social science journals. We note that only 12% are published in political science journals, in spite of being close to the field. In regards to the internationalization of the Mexican field, it's worth noting that 80% of papers are published in local journals, followed by Spain, 7%, and Ecuador, 6%. Other countries' journals receive a very small proportion of Mexican papers. From these findings, we can conclude that the production of scientific papers, in the case of the Mexican periphery, behaves in an endogenous manner, but it's in the research of its professionalization and maybe in the long term, its internationalization. Researchers seem to intend to publish in a center country, but in the Spanish language, such as Spain, probably to get more visibility. And on the other hand, though it seems that papers get indexed to be more competitive in time, this process is still on hold.